The shocking confession of my forbidden affair. I had always prided myself on being a good person. I was raised in a devout Muslim family where I learned from a young age the importance of modesty, respect, and honor. When I was hired as a nanny by the Thompson family, everything seemed perfect. They trusted me not only with their children, but also welcomed me into their home. I adored the kids, seeing them more as siblings than just charges. And they adored me in return. It felt like a perfect arrangement, or at least that's what I thought. But beneath this seemingly ideal life, I was carrying a secret so heavy it threatened to unravel everything I had worked for. It wasn't something I could easily explain or justify. I had crossed a line, and now there was no turning back. It all started innocently enough with Alex Thompson, the father of the family. Alex was kind, soft-spoken, and always respectful toward me. At first, I was just another person in his life, someone he could talk to, vent to when he needed someone to listen. Over time, though, something began to change. Our friendship deepened, and the line between employer and employee slowly blurred. We began sharing more intimate conversations, trading secrets, and showing vulnerabilities to one another that I had never shared with anyone else. I began to notice how Alex would look at me differently, how he paid attention to things that no one else did. He noticed the way my eyes lit up when I spoke of my dreams. He laughed freely at my jokes, and despite my humble background, he respected the way I carried myself with such grace. I could tell he was drawn to me, though I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination. For my part, I was conflicted. I respected him as my employer and considered him a friend, but I also began feeling something I hadn't expected. There was an attraction to him, something I tried to suppress at first, telling myself it was un-Islamic and completely inappropriate. But as days passed and our bond grew stronger, I found myself thinking about him more and more. I began to notice the little things, the way he'd help me with household chores when his wife wasn't home, how our hands would brush when passing each other in the kitchen. These seemingly innocent moments suddenly began to feel charged, like there was something unspoken between us, something neither of us was acknowledging. One evening, when Mrs. Thompson was out at a meeting, Alex invited me to join him for a late cup of tea. It wasn't unusual for us to chat after dinner, but this time there was something different. There was an undeniable tension in the air. As we sat together sipping our tea, his gaze lingered on my face longer than usual, and I felt my pulse quicken. Before I even realized what I was doing, I found myself leaning in, just a little closer. And then it happened. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, as though neither of us could believe it was actually happening. But once our lips touched, something inside me shifted. The guilt, the shame, all of it melted away in an instant. In its place, there was a burning desire I hadn't realized I was capable of. Alex's hand moved to my waist, pulling me closer, and that one moment of passion spiraled into something neither of us could control. Afterward, as we pulled apart, reality came crashing down on me. I had betrayed not only the trust of my employer, but also the sacred principles I had always held dear. What had started as a simple friendship had turned into an affair that now threatened to tear apart everything I had built. For weeks, I struggled with the weight of what I had done. I couldn't stop thinking about Alex, but at the same time, I couldn't stand myself for what had happened. I was a devout Muslim, and I knew in my heart that what I had done was unforgivable in the eyes of my faith. What would my family think if they ever found out? What would my community say? The shame was overwhelming, but the pull of my feelings for Alex was just as strong. I felt like I was at war with myself, not knowing how to reconcile my actions with my beliefs. And then, one evening, the inevitable happened. To be continued.